Hello and welcome to Seamless in the great city of Dubai. We're here at the MyMonty stand with the CEO and CTO. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do introduce yourself, Bruno, and let us know what your remit is here at the business.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure meeting you. And it's so wonderful to be at the Seamless event here in Dubai. And I'm so happy to actually be back in Dubai after such a long time. Just a little bit of a brief about myself. I'm actually a traditional banker and have been for over about 30 years. And the entree or the foray that I've had in tech and the fintech world really started in London about 5 years ago when I was consulting with a new fintech operation on how to actually launch a full bank in London. Because before that, I was a CEO of a banking subsidiary in the UK. So this is a nice, quote unquote, seamless transition from traditional banking into the world of fintech. And I guess I'll tell you more about myself as the interview goes on. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that. We also are joined here by our CTO, Mr. Gaby. Thank you for joining us. Please do tell us a little bit more about your role.
Thank you for hosting us. It's lovely to be here at Seamless. And myself, I joined MyMonty for the last 6 months. My background coming from traditional banking and transforming the whole digital ecosystem going in the future. So MyMonty, it will be the next global digital banking kind of enabler, and giving it a little bit more different twist for the financial services. So thank you again, and we'll discuss more.
Great. So you guys are both bankers coming from a very heavy finance background, and now you're here at the show Seamless. Can you tell me why Seamless is the show for MyMonty to really come out and share your expertise and knowledge in the industry?
Thanks, Rachel. Seamless for us is a very important event to be at. First of all, because MyMonty has an office here in Dubai, okay? And we want to make sure that our colleagues in the UAE, as well as the whole region, know that we're committed to being here. Also, we're fortunate to be in a country that is very, very supportive, both from a legislative as well as financial guidelines that they're adopting in order to support the fintech industries. I mean, fintech here is supported by labs, by offshore centers, by offices that are dedicated. Plus, it really attracts the talent from around the world that comes to Dubai in order to get involved in the fintech industry. So we're here not just to launch, but to prove our commitment to this area.
We talk about strategy. You have a lot of strategy here to start in the Dubai, Middle East region to expand. I'd love to hear more about that. What do you have in mind going forward for this year?
For this year, really, our strategy is focused on getting our platform, our IT platform, really in a solid way that it can support all of the achievements and all of the promises that we're providing to the industry and that we're going to deliver to our clients. The other strategy that we're having really is to build a B2B and a B2C approach to practically everything that we do, but always through partnerships. Okay, so on the B2B strategy, we have Monty Pay, which is a payment gateway for the merchants that are based not only in the GCC, but literally globally. So right now our network expands it throughout Europe, throughout the GCC, the Middle East, as well as in Asia, and we're starting to make inroads in Africa. That's on the B2B. On the B2C, what we're doing is we are already established in Europe, and the offer starts out with an online app on Android or iPhone, as well as web-based, that allows customers to onboard seamlessly, quickly, efficiently, open an account, get an IBAN, which is an international banking account number, in order for them to be able to receive money, top up their account, send money out, with one caveat that the difference between us and our competitors, I say, would be two, how easy it is for them to open an account and interface with us. The second one is we're placing more and more emphasis on customer, person to person service. So it's not just through emails or chatbots. That, I think, is going to be our competitive edge. All right.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you about the USP of your business because there's a lot of competitors here in the marketplace. Why are customers going to choose MyMonty and Monty Pay in their decision?
I'm going to, sooner or later, going to have to hand off the mic, but on this question, I will answer. I've always found success in companies that provide focus. Okay, focus in their strategy and focus practically in everything that they do. And our focus is not to be everything for everyone. Our focus is initially, I would say between now and the next 3 to 5 years, is to serve those segments of the market whereby the clients have been either underserved or underbanked, both by traditional banks as well as existing fintechs. Okay? So once I have focused on my market segment, okay, I then tailor-make the products and the services in order to satisfy their needs rather than satisfy what I think they need. Okay? And so the competitive edge is to provide my client with the reason to be with me. And the reason to be with me is satisfying their needs and the ability to pick up the phone and to speak to someone to serve them, okay? And answer their questions.
Sounds like stickiness is what you're creating for that customer return and retention, and it can't be done without digital transformation, and that's coming from your department, Gaby,
Yep.
the IT department. So do tell me, what is your focus in digitally transforming this industry, specifically for your customers and your internal comms, right?
Correct. The idea basically is to have technology that it's adopted and in a way it's not being used with the traditional banking. What I mean basically, it's an advanced technology that you break it down into micro components. So it's easy to build and easy to deploy early to market. And with the focus, with the rapid focus on the whole fintech evolution, I call it. So you have to develop the system rapidly, focus on the market needs, and launch it in a speed time. And that's what makes you tick from the other industry. Look at banks. When they transform, it takes years. So we can transform it at much less fraction of the time in order to deploy it and show value to banks, because we will be partnering with banks at the end of the day. And we will be the super app aggregator around the globe, supporting the unbanked, bringing at the same time the value add. We will bring customers to the banks as well. This is another value add with our solution. And you're gonna have banks that can have banking solution in the box. It's a bank in the box. We can place it at the bank, run your digital platform. Or you wanna be partnering with us as MyMonty, be part of MyMonty network. And being with MyMonty network, you can exchange money, you can split your bill, you can move money around the globe. And that's our main focus. And we can partner not just with banks, we can partner with financial institutions, we can partner with telecom companies. So imagine, I always simplify it, we will be the Uber of banking. That's basically it.
Impressive. Sounds exciting, right? Now, I know that you have a biotech background,
Yes.
right? And I'm wondering how that plays a part in your role today as a CIO, because the technology is transforming so fast.
Okay. It's the same as the evolution of biotech 15 years ago. And the whole acceleration of drug discovery, especially recently with the COVID vaccination, it's always based on technology, you know that. And For us, being in the biotech industry and a global reach, which is I can apply my experience being a global CIO, coming from biotech industry, coming from banking global kind of industry as well. So we want to apply that experience, but with much more sharp focus on technology. And how can we enable? We are an enabler. We're a technology enabler. We are trying to fast track, especially right now, millennial and generation Z, which is they don't wanna visit a branch. They wanna get everything done through their mobile, and we see explosion into that. Look at our kids. It's like tell them to go to the bank. They look at you. It's like you're an old school. You're legacy. We don't want to deal with you. I want to have my device. I don't want to get my transaction. I want to get my loan. I want to get whatever I need via this little device. So our value as MyMonty, it's a small device, the world under your fingertip. That's it.
Incredible. And so can you go in a little bit further about how you're enabling your customers during this transformation digitally? I think that's a really key part because the segment that you're focusing on is a younger generation. They are moving very fast. They don't have time or patience for the legacy as you referred to.
Yeah. It's a value creation and trust. And how you entice these younger generation to use your platform. It's also all about service. So we're blending the technology, which is the digital technology, and we're blending it with person-to-person support. We want that natural conversation. We don't want to channel it. You can channel it through digital communication and digital media, but sometimes if I need to pick up the phone and call someone, I expect to get somebody on the other end, and that's MyMonty.
Great. And the blockchain, a keyword we hear quite regularly.
Blockchain, there's a big hype about blockchain, and there's a big hype about microservices. Technology evolves every 10 years. Now, blockchain is it's a distributed ledger transaction. So if I want to have my transaction secured, we will be offering blockchain stamping. Certain transaction will be on blockchain. If we get into the crypto world, we will do basically, it's widely available right now, blockchain. It's a matter of deploying your solution on blockchain when it has a value and more security into it. So if I want a highly secure transactions that it will be distributed around the globe and nobody can change it, that's blockchain. So blockchain, everybody talks about blockchain, but really started at the banking as on trade finance. And now it's evolving more on crypto and so forth and so on. It's a transformation. Is everything will be on blockchain? I doubt it. But there's certain areas that it needs security. It needs you want to have basically validation of your deed for your house. It will be on blockchain.
Right. Well, you mentioned two other words that are really important to your customers and consumers in general: security, right, and compliance. And how does that play a really important priority in your business today?
That's religious for us. Security and compliance is religious for us. We have to comply with every regulatory body around the globe. And this is prerequisite. It's just kind of, when this is your value add, if you don't provide the right security and the right compliance, that means you cannot operate. And we have, as MyMonty, because we do partner with banks, the first layer of compliance, AML, the first screening is us. That's the first layer of security insurance policy. The second layer is with the banks. So how more security you want in terms of onboarding customers?
I'm going to touch on 2 points. The first one is security and compliance. You're talking to two ex-bankers, and security and compliance is paramount. I cannot highlight that. Because we want to be able to make sure that our clients are very confident and they can sleep at night knowing that we've taken care of the security. And as far as the compliance are concerned, as we expand in different markets, there are regulators that actually are going to be looking at us through a telescope. We're going to be on everybody's radar screen. So compliance for Gaby and I is, again, to use the word paramount, but I cannot really overemphasize that. Which is why I suppose that both Gaby and I were brought in as bankers into a fintech operation. Rather than have programmers build a bank, you've got bankers building a fintech bank, okay? Based on technology. I want to take a step backwards though, and we talk about transformation, and it's become such a cliche. Everybody talks about transformation, but transformation doesn't mean change. Change is an evolution. We are talking about transformation. Transformation is the complete redo. Okay, something goes from A to B. It doesn't go from A to A plus. The way we do that is very core to us, because one of our target segment is to partner up and provide consultancy to traditional operations that have nothing to do with fintech. For example, one of our target markets is to deal with mobile operators. Mobile operators are part of our DNA. MyMonty started by Monty Mobile. So our approach to our network is, given the client base that you have, given the technology that you have, partner with us so that we can transform you away from just being a mobile operator into actually a financial services provider, okay? And we will also be approaching banks that have dabbled or are thinking about getting into the fintech world, but are not really experts at it. They don't have the in-house expertise, the specialists, nor do they have the budgets to spend in changing the core system. We've got the expertise. We've got the consultancy. So we will walk in as consultants, providing them end-to-end tech stack, but that's tailor-made depending on their market and their needs, and transform them through this journey into becoming fintechs. Now, we've talked about, and we can see that a lot of traditional banks are dabbling in fintech quasi services. But having an app on a phone by a traditional bank is not fintech. That's just an app. That's just a next step. Okay? That's like grafting something to another. With us, fintech is our DNA. Okay? And we want to be able to slice and splice that DNA with banks that really want to change their traditional approach to serving a customer into what we call the fintech world of the 21st century. Okay.
Beautiful. Well, I love that you brought it back to that conversation, because you have different segments of interest and focus that I'd like to tap into, and I want you to go further into not only the telecoms, but also the banking a little bit further deep, deeper, so that we can understand how those different segments differ with the solutions you provide.
Well, I'm going to focus on the consultancy solutions, and then I will let Gaby talk about the technology solutions. Let's take, for example, the mobile operators. Mobile operators have invested tremendous amount of money in their network, okay, to establish a network. And they've worked very, very hard in order to gather the thousands and hundreds of thousands of clients that they have. But the model itself is somewhat petering out, because the mobile industry itself is moving away from traditional SMS notifications, et cetera, when Nokia was ruling the world, right? Now you have a completely different technology. So what does a mobile operator do in order to change its business model and leverage the tens or hundreds of thousands of customers that it has? Well, because it has a channel of communication, and because all of their customers have mobiles, and because now customers can do banking through a mobile, we can come in and add the financial services aspect to their existing network and to their existing client base. So it's not a reinvention. It truly is a transformation. It goes It's turning off a switch and turning on another switch. Okay? When it comes to the banking world, there are a lot of banks, let's say medium-sized banks, small-sized banks in developing countries, who certainly are smart enough to look at the competition in the matured countries with a lot of banks that are dabbling in the fintech, and they're asking themselves, what do we do? Do we continue with our banking network, checks, current accounts, savings accounts? Okay, whereas their customers themselves have changed. There's a completely new generation that is on their phone that doesn't want to go into their branch, regardless of what country they're in. Okay, because we're living in a global world now. Okay, so if an Italian teenager doesn't want to walk into a branch, I can assure you a teenager in Asia or in the UAE or in Nigeria does not want to walk into a branch. And so therefore the problems have become common. The solutions though are uncommon, and the solutions need to be tailor-made. And this is where I go back to my point that our approach to our customers is a partnership approach, a consultancy approach, nothing that's off the shelf. Speaking about tech off the shelf, I pass it on to Gaby.
So part of that is, I'm sure, an integration concern and implementation concern,
Correct.
right, for your customers. Can you tell me a little bit about how the ease of doing business with MyMonty and how that is actually going to support your partners, as you said?
The idea about our technology stacks, when you have it a component base, it's small microservices, and you outlayer it with something called API gateway in the terms of banking, so open banking. The idea is to put all of these components and tools into an appliance, similar like your appliance in the house. You take it to the bank, you plug it, and you get the integration. We are responsible for interconnecting the whole world from that bank perimeters and outward. So by having this enablement of the digital solution for any bank, as long as the bank, they provide us with their interconnectivities to be able to plug in that appliance. That appliance, you need electricity and you need certain hertz into your house. Is it 20 to 20 volts or is it like basically 120 volt? So this appliance will be placed at the bank or at a telco operator. At the same time, we have the tools to analyze the data. There's a lot of talk about AI, and it's basically slicing and dicing the data and doing the customer chum. Customer chum, basically what it is. It just, okay, this customer has a good credit or not a good credit, or this customer has a potential. So we analyze all that data and we'll highlight what the value for a bank or for an operator or any partner to really have it integrated part of our enablement technology solution, so you can really reach out the world. And this is our value proposition. It has to be a unique. There's a lot of competition. Its market is extremely saturated, but we have a uniqueness with our technology solution to really have it rapidly deployed in a record time.
Seamlessly, right?
Seamlessly, thank you.
That exactly why we're here today. You guys have been a plethora of valuable information sharing with me today, and I really thank you for taking the time to share with me not only where you are today, but where you're going. And in suit of that, you mentioned your Dubai office. Where is your next location that people should be watching out?
I'd like to have parallel efforts going on. I'd like to see us expand further in Europe, because we're already in Europe, in the UK, and we provide our app throughout Europe for European citizens. We are here in the UAE. I'd like to see us in the African continent and Asia as well. I'd love to see a pin pinned on that map.
So MyMonty is a place for seamless integration, and it seems that the person-to-person communication for your partnerships with not only your customers, but also your strategic partners to help your brand and your customers transition through this digital experience of the new age customer, right? So did I get that pretty correctly?
I couldn't have said it better.
Ah,
Well, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for talking
Thank
to
you.
me today. I
Thank
hope you have
you.
a wonderful show, and best of luck. Anyone that's willing to talk to them, come on over to the stand, E40 at Seamless today.